Good day, as you know, I am Kaylin, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a more advanced shift setup here. So we're going to do staggered shifts. Now this is, for example, when you've got a day-night shift. You can have the option where obviously the employee can either just work day shift or just night shift, or then you've got one employee that could perhaps alternatively work day and night within either the same week, within the same pay period, etc., etc. So we're going to then set up a staggered shift then. So if we move on over to our configuration module, we on previous occasions have set up then, like a basic shift. So I've got some of those shifts left in here. If I just take a look at my payroll shifts, I'll see I've got some day shifts, and I've also got a night shift that's been configured there. So now essentially what I want to do is combine let's say this day shift 8 to 5 with the night shift, so that one employee can work either of these shifts. So it's not a case of then allocating them to the night shift and then a week later having to allocate them to the day shift again. Obviously your shift history can get quite messy then in terms of that schedule. So it depends also on how often these guys would alternate between those. If it's once in a blue mood that he might work a night shift, then you can simply use your shift history. Okay, so we've actually then already got our daily shifts pre-configured because of this day shift that's been set up, and the same with the night shift there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those exact same day shifts that we've got configured here, and I'm going to simply put it in in the staggered shift there. So what we need to do then, you've got two options here. Obviously if you don't have any shifts to copy or anything like that, you would have to create a new shift and go through the shift wizard and set up the description and the dates and all that. Just because I always say this, because I don't want to do too much work there. It's easier for me to copy the night shift and then simply add in the day shift. Now something to remember when it comes to staggered shifts, you'll see at the bottom here you've got a default line. Now each of these shifts only have one line here, because obviously it's only either day or night shift. So now when we create a staggered shift, there's going to be either you can have multiple lines. Let's say you've got a day, afternoon and a night shift option, or in our case there's only going to be two lines here. So what you need to remember with a staggered shift is always make your night shift on the default line. So this is why I'm not taking my day shift, for argument's sake, copying that and putting in my night shift, because I want the night shift to be on that default line. So I'm going to take the night shift, I'm going to click on copy, and we're going to give it a new code. Let's just make it 05. I then want to go and change the description. Let's make this day night shift. And obviously you can put in all that information if you want to still. I'm just going to delete that, so it's simply a day night shift. You can obviously go and change the color as well then. Let's just choose. And then if you want to go through any other settings in terms of the length that you want to change, of your pay period or the start date of that, you can obviously go and set that. Generally, if it is also a weekly shift, actually, now that I see that, I'm going to set this to a weekly shift. And I'm happy with, let's just make sure that it is a Monday. Yes, it is a Monday, because I want my shift to run from a Monday to a Sunday. And you can just go through those and set anything up that you want for those options. So once I've done that, I can click on finished. Got my day night shift, got all my settings that I want there. Now what we need to do is go and add another line in here where we can actually specify the day shifts. So I've got my default line, got my night shift, I'm pretty happy there. You'll see there's an add option button. If you click on this, you've got then 4 options that you can do. You can either just add one day, or you can do one night, one 7-day week, or a 7-night week. So basically, as with the previous basic shifts that we created, your day shift generally starts at a 0-100 hour and runs till 2400. Your night shift starts from 12 o'clock in the afternoon and runs through till 12 o'clock the next day. So in this case now we've got a night shift. I'm going to set up a 7-day week. The nice thing about this is if you're running a Monday to a Sunday shift here, you've got this configured here, or Wednesday to Tuesday, it'll automatically go and add those days in to your other option that you've got there. Now I've got my day shift, and all I need to do is go and specify which day shifts need to be used in this shift. So let's just go and do this. Thursday, and Friday is going to be the same one. Got Saturday and Sunday. There you go. And that's how easy it is to set up a staggered shift. You can obviously then go through any of your balancing rules. If you've got any information here that you need to put in terms of balancing. This is exactly the same as setting up a basic shift. In terms of the rules, you can go and set up rounding rules there, the holiday rules, whether they receive standard time if they've worked or whether they've not worked, any other additional options like pay on day out or anything like that, and then obviously if you need to go and assign any scripts as well, you can do that then. Those are exactly the same. So if you're feeling a little bit lost at this moment because we didn't actually go and configure a daily shift separately, we didn't go and configure a payroll shift, please go and take a look at the video that says creating basic shifts, where you can just then get the basics of how to configure each of these payroll shifts and the daily shifts then. So this is a case of combining the two here. What will happen now is when you go and assign the day-night shift to an employee, it'll take a look at the in-clocking when they've clocked in. So let's say they come in at 5:30 in the morning, or let's say this is now an 8 till 5 shift, so they come in at 7:30 in the morning, it'll automatically allocate him to the day shift. If he's going to come in, because your night shift only starts at 12, if he comes in, let's say at 1 o'clock, it will automatically then allocate him to your night shift. And pick that one up and obviously apply the rules. So in that case as well, you can have different rules for your night shift to your day shift. So that could be even in terms of holiday wise, how many hours they may earn. Let's say your night shift is a 12-hour day and your day shift is only 8 hours. This will all get specified in the rules of each day according to the schedules and the balancing rules and holidays and options there. So they don't have to be exactly the same. The reason for you putting the night shifts on the default line is so that it can obviously span over the entire period to look for the clockings in case he's obviously clocked for the night shift, that it can see those there then. And that's a staggered shift. That's how easy it is there. You can obviously, like I said, you can set up a day, afternoon and night shift if you have. It's not always only a day and night shift option either that you can use staggered shifts in. Let's say you've got a Saturday off here for argument's sake and a Sunday off, but there's also, so by default you want this guy to be booked off for a Saturday and Sunday, but he could also come in and work on a Saturday or Sunday. What you can do then is, instead of adding a 7-day week, you can just add a 1-day week. So I mean, that's already a day shift there, and we can now say we can go and look at what is the Saturday. Saturday starts at 120 hours, so we're going to change this to 120, and let's say we call this Saturday worked, and we can do the same then, add another line in there and say Sunday worked. So if you just took note there, only when I want to add in a extra option here in terms of the shifts, then I would click that button. If it's a case of just adding another line in here, I would have to click on that add button. And the same here, then I would just go and specify the Saturday or the Sunday work shift. So let's just say this guy can work 8 till 5 and 8 till 3 on the Sunday as well. Then by default he will be booked off for that Saturday and Sunday. If he does clock, however, it will automatically pick up those shifts. So it's not always a day-night or a day-afternoon or afternoon-night setup that you would use staggered shifts then. You can have multiple lines. So I mean, you can go and have different options that it needs to configure for those there. Just be sure that or rather be careful when you're setting up staggered shifts that you don't have the option, let's say you've got a shift from 8 till 5 and you've got another option from 8:30 till 5 and another one from 9 till 5. There is a possibility that it wouldn't actually pick up that shift correctly because there's such a short or small window period between the start periods of each shift, because you've got an 8 o'clock, an 8:30 and a 9 shift. There could be then a possibility that it would obviously pick up the incorrect shift, and you might need to write a script then in order for it to automatically pick up or to pick up the correct shift then. You can say, okay, fine, if the guy clocks anything up till 8:15, it needs to pick up the 8 o'clock shifts for argument's sake. So just be careful of setting up too many options here, thinking that it's a good idea. Generally try and keep those start and end times, quite far apart. Like, yeah, you've got a day which starts at 8 and your night shift, starts, for argument's sake, at 6 at night or whatever that may be. So yes, that's staggered shifts. Next time in the next video we'll be discussing a rolling shift, so we'll be setting that up then. I hope that you'll join me. See you next time. Goodbye.